Ready?
Yep.
Last summer, I was interviewed by Amnesty International for an article in their magazine about poverty as a human rights issue. The article, "We Can Speak for Ourselves," included interviews with two other lived experience activists working with us in GRIP, the Growing Rights Instead of Poverty Partnership. Wawa spoke about the right to work, especially for people seeking asylum. Tracy said that universal credit has destroyed lives. In my interview, I spoke about the right to family life, which is supposed to be protected under the Human Rights Act. But that's not what happens. My interview was called "Forced Adoptions Are Horrendous." Here is what I told Amnesty. I have been working to get rid of poverty and discrimination for over 20 years. For me and for many of the activists at ATD Fourth World, we got involved because we were living in poverty and going through a big crisis, very often related to social services, interventions and family life. For example, I supported a mum who kept being sent by social services to a mother and baby unit because the mum had been in care as a child. Each time she had a baby, they put her in this unit for 2 months so she could be assessed. 3 times her baby was sent to foster care and then put up for adoption. Going through family court, the poor mum didn't have a say at all. With her 4th baby, I was panicking, but finally they agreed that she could raise her own child. Families want to stay together. The way parents in poverty are treated is way out of proportion. You often get judged by social workers instead of supported to have what you need to raise your children decently. When you are scrimping on the basics, you don't have the money to cover up the cracks. The state spends money on foster care that could instead be used to help prevent the need for it. I used to believe that I was safe in this country and that the country would look after you in time of need, but it doesn't. ATD supported me through a difficult time with my daughters. I wanted to give back and protect people at their moments of crisis. Then I got involved in what we can do to change this and make sure a child is never removed from their home just because poverty gets confused with neglect, which is very often what happens. It is shameful that the poorer you are in this country, the more likely you are to have your children forcibly taken from you. You see this around the number of children placed in care or put up for forced adoptions. It's all about what are the risks from the parents, not what are the risks from social services. Interventions and separation from your family actually has an opposite effect on children and families in need of support by causing future trauma. The forced adoptions are horrendous because they affect everyone. Siblings, parents and grandparents are never going to have contact with that child again. Completely out of your control. I absolutely want those things changed. At ATD Fourth World, we do social work training. There are social workers we have spoken to that want to find a different way to deal with families. One of the things ATD focuses on is the contributions people make and the positive roles they play in their communities that they are often not recognised for. This work fed into a report, a GRIP report sent to the United Nations. We did study groups, interviews and focus groups with families, young people and social workers to try to find solutions together. It's our communities that own this report. People weren't just writing from their minds, but from their hearts. I feel proud about speaking my truth in the report. People in power might not always like it, but they've got to hear it. We need the public to know that they can call on the government to change things. And I hope this report makes the UN kick the backside of the UK government.